Hi. Hey, that I made you love me. Yeah, yeah. This song is so good. Hi. Hi, everybody. Hi, Ryan. Hi, babe. What's up? Hi, Ali. Hi, everybody. Guys. Guys, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm on one. I'm feeling really good after my shower. We're gonna play some DVD. Allie, how's your day today? What'd you get up to? I hope the weather was nice today. Today was kind of overcast, but it was still warm. Okay, let me mute this tab real quick. Please don't. Also, I'm gonna be in my stream VC if you want comms. We're gonna be running a Swift with some friends, and people are just gonna come and go, but depending on how much time everyone has. But I know everyone. I literally was like, I don't want to play alone. I want to play with people. I need people. You know, or whatever Ari Lennox said. Um, hold up. Hold up. God, I'm sniffling so bad. Okay. I did invite Momo. We'll see if Momo will join. Yes, it was nice. The girls played outside. Aw, that's so sweet. What were they like? Like, okay, so as a mom of toddlers, do they just chase each other around and giggle? Like, what do they play? Asking for a friend. Because if I think about it, I'm like, what do you mean playing? Like what were they playing? Hi, Momo. Momo, did you see my DM? Do you want to join for a few games? We're just gonna be hanging out. I just want to hang out with my friends, like not open lobbies. Oh, period. Let me see your message. Okay, period. Yeah, I'll be in my VC if you guys want to chat. But I just wanted to hang out with friends, whoever was available. Get some giggles in. That was just a vibe. And maybe I should have put it in the Discord, like, hey, this is what I want to do tonight. Like, if anybody wants to just chill. Period. We got a full squad. Excuse me. Also send pictures. Oh wait, of your computer room. Hold on. Let's see, guys. I'm getting live footage of Ryan playing Paralives. Momo, as an R&B lover, do you like Amber Mark? Have you heard of Amber Mark? Cause she is on my brain recently. And I find her music very, very good. Guys, it's Pride this weekend, so we're making Pride Fest plans. Pride this weekend is Pride in Milwaukee is like a 3 day event, a 4 day event, on every first week of June. My DVD's not connecting, guys. Like I was literally playing it yesterday. Okay, it might be working. Okay. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. So we're excited for Pride. Pride is fun. We're just gonna go on Thursday. I think we decided, but we're gonna try to go to bars this weekend. Just like hang out. Ours is the end of June. Yeah, ours. I love Amber Mark. Okay, period. Yeah, Amber Mark is really that girl. Sorry, Ryan. My phone is junk, so it takes a bit. Wait, that's the whole apartment. Wow, I feel so special. I feel so spoiled. Thank you for the lurk, Sky. I appreciate you. I was lurking in your chat earlier. Can I get a shout out for Skya, please? My people, let's go. Okay, so we're gonna vibe to Amber Mark tonight. Well, we have Amber Mark Radio on, so we're just gonna vibe out to like some funky R&B. I'm excited. Ryan, this apartment, like, I love that. I love this style. It's so cool. Okay, a pride flag in every bedroom. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm just being ridiculous. I'm sorry. Don't take it seriously. I'm sorry. With Dustin. Oh my God, Dustin. Cypher Sore Eyes. I hope he's well. So you were playing together? I didn't know what game you were playing. Okay, bike. Wait, Ryan. You kind of ate. Ryan's like, don't talk to me. Thank you for all the shout outs. I appreciate you so much, Ryan, for being here. Let's try this again. I need to restore my license because I'm not sure what's going on. Villainous. Oh. What is that? What is villainous? License restored. He's studying to become a pilot. Oh, that's cool. That's awesome. Oh, I haven't spoken to him in so long. I haven't spoken to those people in so long. It feels like me trying to be LGBT and work in parallels, and Justin's making me work. I'm sorry. Did you hear my response to your rooms, or were you ignoring me? Guys, I'm sipping on a strawberry lemonade. Will I ever change my scene if this game ever decides to load? Oh hell yes, I fixed it. All right, hopping in my VC if you guys want to chat with me. No pressure though. I'm just gonna be chatting. Strawberry lemonade. Computer, give me a strawberry lemonade. Oh, I have to replay this song. Hi. Thank you so much, Skya. Good night. I hope you get some sleep. I'm gonna run a match unless people are ready. Okay, Mark is ready. Let's get Mark in here. And then I think we're just gonna jump right in just so I can practice. And then we can get our other friends in. Oh my god, Momo. Wait, what happened? Oh, no. Too much is happening. There we go. Momo's here. My game was freaking out. You made food? You're eating at 4 a.m. Okay. 4 a.m. is kind of nuts. There you go. Hell yeah. Oh, Hellfire Club? Let's do it. And then Ryan. Ryan, I don't see you, Ryan. Karma for the flag. Literally breaking my game. Let's just ready up until Ryan's here. Guys, Leon Thomas. Completing a room. Yeah. Finish the room. Finish the room. You have to show me the final product. I got you. I want to see the final product. Hashtag gay. Okay, but Momo, what should the command be? Tell me. I'll have to come up with a fun one. Maybe it can be a sound alert. Hi, gay. Oh, maybe it could be that. User is gay. Hi, Alex, my new bestie. Hi. TBT to when we duoed yesterday. Do you remember that? How are you? And I knocked on Oat Milk Store. Like that was so embarrassing. My big ass. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I hit the door. God, I giggled so hard. I was like, wait, I thought I was confused. Like, wait, who is she talking to? I was like, I don't get it. I couldn't follow. Yeah, I think she 100% thought we were streaming together. Well, welcome in. Alex, we have check-in redeems here. Get those check-ins. We take them seriously. Chicken. I hope you're doing well. Did you stream today? It's so good to meet you. Welcome in. I love making friends on Twitch. Like, this is so fun. Literally love making friends on Twitch. Yes, love dailies. I'm so bad at them because I'm never consistent with being in streams. So then I always forget some streams have dailies that I should pick up. So I get better about the daily. I think me having a check-in makes me like see that, like perceive that more. Yes, you got your check-in. Let's go. I think I'm gonna change the check-in message to be like more like the vibe. No streams today. Tuesday, Saturday gamer. Okay, so more like a weekday. Got it. Plus it's 1,000,000 degrees in Texas. Okay, we're in Wisconsin. So the weather's very different. So we finally started getting like warm weather. Justin says, get your check-ins. Yeah, I should be like, you better get your check-in, and then something like that. I'll figure it out. 2 dailies. One is a daily boop and a daily bong rip. Okay, Alex, then you've come to the right place. Cheers to that. I had Wendy's for dinner. And a strawberry lemonade is always gonna be so good. Let me know if I'm also gonna do a crackly command or something to let me know. Maybe static to let me know to change the audio so I can see it in chat. You know? It's like 100 degrees. What'd you get for Wendy's? Okay. So my normal order, it's that. Oh, Springtrap. See, I like regular pubs because you get all these different killers. Oh, I'm bad at the game. I'm bad at the game, guys. Guys, wait, it's almost like I never got off this game before. Me too, it's okay. I kind of locked in there. Oh no, that's not good. Alex, we stream on the weekends, so Matt, guys, that's my twin. That's the OG. That's the OG. Yes, get your check-ins. I love that you're here. I hope you're doing really, really well. I owe you a voice note. It's okay. One hook. We're about to get 2 gens done, maybe. How you doing, Twinny? Guys, Mads is a real one. Like a day one bestie, literally. I've known you for so long. Yeah, I miss you so much. Dude, remember that Snapchat group we had with Aiden and Jaden? Like, what was that? What was that? Okay, Jen finally finished. What was that time in all of our lives? Okay, 2. I hope you're doing so good. Tell me about your day. Tell me one good thing that happened today. One thing you're looking forward to. Oh no, Momo. No, good chase, Justin. Yeah, I just don't stream on Mondays. Okay, cool. I should be streamed today, make up missing last week, but it was miserable today. Wait, what was? Oh, just because of how hot it was. We're finally getting nice weather over here, so like I work outside all the time, so I have a lot of color on my face. It's been really nice to be out there and sweating. Honestly, sweating feels good, you know, like getting a good workout in. Oh, welcome to the park with Nova. That's so sweet. How is Nova? I bet she's so big. Got KFC after? Okay, period. Okay, wait. I got distracted from my Wendy's order, Alex, but here's my Wendy's order. Usually it's a Baconator Jr. sandwich, very fat, and a 10-piece spicy nugget meal. And I used to get the ghost pepper ranch. He wants my ass. And a strawberry lemonade. But it said that the chicken sandwich was new, so I wanted to give it a chance. So I got the chicken sandwich, but I didn't like it as much as I like a Baconator Jr., so I don't think I'm ever gonna get it again. Oh, he doesn't want me. No, why are you here, Alan? Alan, what are you? Why are you over at me? Like, why would he come over there? I had it fine. And then I bring the chase to the generator that's being worked on. It's so annoying. Like, what am I doing? Alan, please. It's okay. I understand. Yeah, so that's my fat order. Anyway, there's a spicy chicken sandwich on the menu now that is claimed to be new. So, yeah, because, like, why did you ruin my whole loop? I was doing so good. Oh my god, babe, just finish the gen, please. Just pop it. Pop it, pop it, pop it. Momo, I'm in main if you can heal. You're an icon. Okay, don't go for save. Oh my god, taking the chase. Let's go. About to be 3 years old, that's crazy. Oh my god. Can I get a picture of Nova, please? Excuse me. Yeah, chocolate frosty for your nuggies. Okay, so that used to be, I used to always get a chocolate frosty with my nugget. Okay, I'm here with Momo. Oh no! We've been cloned. There's the Alan. Okay. Oh, that's the Felix. I don't know their names, Alex. I don't know any of their names. Oh, he got up. Oh, the conviction. Why is he telling? I think he just wants to kill. He saw me. He wants my ass. Can I get a whiff? Momo, you G. He left me. Okay, picks up Momo. I don't know his name, Alex. You think I know his name? Damn, no, come on. I got the team out. I got the team out. That's all that matters. That's all that matters. That the homies got out. The homies got out. Hell yeah. The homies got out. That's all that matters. Yes. Salute to you guys. I didn't want any of you guys to die. That was incredible gameplay, by the way. Like, the loops were looping. Not me with 19,000 points. Not me not getting out. Help. GG's to Felix. Not me. I was being a little bit of a hater. I did get his name wrong. I apologize. Oh, there's Ryan. Welcome. Hello.
Hi, Lippy. How are you?
I'm having a lot of fun. Like, that was Miss Bobia, if you're nasty. Oh, I thought that... Oh, that's Rhea. I like Rhea. Sean Cody, is that you?
Yeah, that's why I like the heck.
Okay, shirtless.
Oh, I have to keep up with the hot quota. Hold on.
We all kind of ate. Nice use of that hook as the DH. I was trying so hard to like make him... I knew he was going to be aggressive and just try to kill me, so I just went for the chase. And Momo got off hook. And there you go. Look at that. Momo got off hook.
I've never read about or seen a place like this.
I was like, where is that? Where is there talent at? Alex, I don't know their names. Okay, they all look the same to me. I'll join BC soon. Okay, period. I just want to hang out. We're just vibing. I just want to giggle with my friends, you know? It's been a minute.
You're giggling. We love it. We love it.
We love a live, laugh, giggle. Live, laugh, love, giggle. Look, exactly. I'm sorry I played this game too much. The thing is, I think I have over 1,000 hours in this game and I still don't know their name. So yeah. I just know the ones I like. You have almost 7K. Oh my god, Alex, you're an icon. Truly a legend. Like, that's crazy. Okay, so how, on a scale of 1 to 1,000, how good are you at this game? You're probably really good. Sometimes I feel like I'm the worst at this game. But honestly, don't say what. You've been there. You've seen it.
Yeah, and I've seen you loop these killers.
You know what I was watching that video I posted of us playing that Legion match, and I hate that I didn't include the ending because you literally get out. You literally get out of the game. Like, you get hatched at the end of that game, which is kind of crazy. I just be trolling. That's how I feel sometimes. Some days I have great chances, others I'm a little like, hey, Mr. Killer, is that your knife? Ooh, shiny.
I hate that because, like, when you're not on stream, you're looping for like 5 gens. You're spinning them every 2 seconds.
That's why I'm happy that last match is on stream. There were witnesses to how good I was doing that match. I'm a save Gremlin, Beams, Bangs. Oh, okay, period. Oh, that you must be so good. I get scared with flashlights. I use 2v8 to practice with flashlights, but I feel like the better killers get at playing this game, the harder it is to do that stuff. So just like, I don't want to do that. Also, I can't use a flashbang to save my life. Like, I still don't understand how to use it.
All that you do is you aim for face.
Another spring trap. Please be so serious. Guys, what are the odds it's the same one? I'll teach you, King. Please! I need lessons from Alex. Alex, tell me a little bit about yourself. You're from Texas. What do you do for... What else do you do for fun? Like, what else do you play on stream? I'm scared. Oh my god, is it the same one? Please. Thank you, Sue. No, it might not be. Not me getting clipped.
If it is, I'm gonna scream.
I didn't even see the name of the last guy. I think it's agitation or iron grasp.
Ooh. Yeah, probably both.
Wiggle, 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 please. He came back to hit me. I think it's the same one. I think it's the same one because he knew to go to.
I know to get you out of this match.
Like he knew to go to the gen.
Oh, okay.
Not trying to mind game.
Oh, William, you're fading. Hold on.
Ooh, oh, so close. I'm on a pallet. I'm on a pallet, Momo. Momo, Momo, Momo. Momo! Oh my god! Momo, we have to get Mark. Go, 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 go.
I blinded him, but he's going right after you.
Oh, the reassurance. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. He's being nasty. So nasty and so rude. Hi, Rambo. What's up? What's up, Rambo?
So rude.
So nasty and so rude. Oh, he's looking down. He's looking at his feet. He's there. Look at those toes. So nasty and so rude. Twin, we added so many new sound alerts, friend. Okay, Momo's also on a pallet.
I'm healing, and I'm gonna try and see if I can filter save, hopefully.
Yeah, bad grit. You think he has all three?
Fuck, I don't make it in time. He turned around.
I'm asked with flashlights. You're practicing. Yeah. I feel like flashlights are so hard to use. Rambo, how are you doing today? Is he really gonna tunnel?
David. No,
no,
not gonna be able to. Taking him away. Oh
no,
he's
tunneling. Oh. Okay, can I get a whiff? What you doing, Michael Jackson? Moonwalking over here.
I'm over here looking at demons.
Like, what are we doing at 5 gen? It's the same. It must be the same guy. It has to be, right? He's tunneling me at 5 gen.
It has to be. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
I guess Momo and Mark also have hooks, but like. I could have gotten out too. I missed the still check. Oh! Ooh, he threw an axe at Momo! Whale? I say whale all the time, Alex. We were meant to meet. We were meant to meet. Newish to gaming in your 30s. I'm also in my 30s. Look at that.
Hold on.
Oh my god, long lost soulmate. 2018, playing Fortnite with ex-husband. Been a streamer for 2 years. In July, I saved a variety of senior DVD, Killer and Survivor. Ooh, who do you like playing as Killer? I have, okay, 7P100? I'll have to go in your chat and see. My first Killer, which is Bubba. Ooh. Working on 2 other survivors, their secrets till anniversary. I love. Oh! So that happened.
We're all down. I'm good.
Can we check if it's the same? Can we fact check that? Let's see who it was. I'm not even gonna show the name on stream. I just need somebody fact check. Working on 2 other survivors, but they are a secret. So you're not telling anyone who you're working on. I love simulator games like Power Simulator, Friend Slot, but not many friends to play with those kind of games. Okay, Alex, well, do I have news for you? We are a friend slop kind of game players here. Like, I love Peak. I love playing games with friends. Jackbox TV. I love like we still have to do Among Us. I might have to schedule that soon. We'll see what next week brings, or the week after brings. We'll see if there's a long stream impending. A long stream to come. We love just hanging out. Like, honestly, that's the vibe here. We do play a lot of DBD, but I think recently we really haven't been playing DBD on stream. Like, I've been playing a lot of Pokopia. I just started like a Sims Legacy challenge on stream, which has been fun. And then this. We just finished Until Dawn. Like, I actually could feel like I'm more of a variety streamer now than I was maybe even 2 months ago. I have Bung, Yunjin, Hattie, Cheryl, Steve, Nancy, and Rentato. I love that. Yeah, I know. That is crazy. Renato was on my list after Gabe, but then V came out. And Aurella came out. And Mr. Tay came out. So I do have a list. My two P100s are Aurella and Gabe. At some point, Tori Keller will be putting out a new album. There's a couple new songs. Can I request one? Yeah, you can absolutely request a song. I literally just have like a playlist on shuffle.
Okay, we gotta lock in on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, hopefully it's not the spring trap.
We get them 3 times in a row.
I would cry.
That's happened to me before with like what was it? A McClown. Got him back to back to back to
Oh
back.
hell no. No. Ari's new single is Chef's Kiss. Wait, what did you say, Ryan?
Oh no, I was saying he DC'd on the 3rd time that I got him.
Oh, period. He was like, you know what, I can't do this again. I can't do this again. I thought about Gabe, but he has no good fits. I know, he just needs his nipples out, guys. Petition, justice for Gabe's nipples.
Free the nipple.
Because even the V-line top is so not it. It doesn't match any good outfits. Free the nip. Literally. So good. Okay, we're gonna cue up that Tori Kelly song. What's it called again? Dive. I love how. Okay, add to queue, and then I'm gonna queue up that Ari song. I hate that I made you love me. Give me more shirtless men. Like, where are the men tits? I want the man boobs.
Like,
where are
add
the
jiggle
tits?
physics to men in DVD 2027.
Yeah, where are the physics? No, but Gabe is great. Yeah, get your check-ins, guys. We have check-ins. Get your check-ins. And then Aurella is just an icon. Like, I love Aurella. Like, oh hey, 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 oh hey. How are ya?
Do we know which stretch skin it is? Is it the baby doll one?
No. It has like hooks in it. It's like the Baba Yaga one.
Oh, got you. Okay, okay.
Aurella's the cutie pie. I have so many femmes already. You're like, I have too many. Iron Maiden skin. That's what Alex said.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I play a lot of femme characters, like when I play games. Nice, Momo, good try. No, Momo's down.
Okay, I'm on my way.
I'm on pallet still.
Oh, period. Okay,
Okay,
definitely.
but yeah, Mark got me up. Go, go, go. Got a blast. There's no pallet here. No!
Oh, he's got septic touch. Or they have septic touch?
OMG, or one of the freakier scare. Spooky. Spooky. Okay, we got the gen done though. That's exciting. Okay, the TP is crazy. Let's just get right on it. Get right on it. Get right on it. He has some. Sounds like Momo has a crush. I love the skin so much. I think the skin looks dope as hell. That still means it's scary. I hardly ever see people using
Like, I
it.
love Iron Maiden, and when they dropped this is one of my first purchases. I was like, yes, I will buy this.
I think the Iron Maiden stuff was really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Just heal me 99, Momo. If you're out there.
Oh, he left me. Let's go. We love bullying killers. Oh fuck, he went to Mark. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm gonna go find Mark.
They're over by.
Oh, I see him. He's going into main.
Yep.
He's TPing. Oh, can't get there. I hate the darkness. It's so scary. Oh, I see him. Going to get the hook. I hear your gen or a gen. Hi Ash, welcome in. Who are you playing with, Justin? We're playing with Mark, Ryan, and Momo. Here.
Okay, while
Come
y'all
here.
work now.
Come here, come here. We might as well be full, you know what I mean?
Hmm?
Like fully healed, you might as well, you know? Terry, get your check in! Terry, how are you? What's up?
Basement? Okay, I'm ready to go grab.
Oh! He almost yoinked me off the... Oh, I'm dead, I'm dead, I'm dead. Oh my god, I didn't see him. He's TPing the basement. Or to Shack, wherever, yeah. Hi Ash, welcome in. How's work tonight? Momo didn't answer, so I don't know. He didn't respond. I played too many licensed killers. Want more Shiro cosmetics? Yeah, I want more cosmetics for some original characters. Like Bill notoriously doesn't have a lot of cosmetics, right? Yeah, Mark's healing me. Mark got me up.
I think he left me again. Yeah, he's going right back. Okay. I'm gonna see if I can.
He's looking around. He's TPing. I'm gonna go to the gen. He TP'd. I don't know where he went though.
Fuck it, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna go for it.
Momo, please. Oh, nice. I'm doing the gen. Momo, run.
Oh, he's greedy. Okay, there we go. He's picking me up.
Okay, bet. Okay, I see Momo.
He's TPing.
Run, 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 run! Momo, Momo! Go, 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 go! He's gonna TP. Momo, run, Momo! Momo, please! There's no pallet here, Momo! Momo, run! Get out of there! Get out, get out, get out! Momo, run! He's looking for you, Momo, run! Get out, get out, get out! Mark's going for hook save. He's picking me up. Momo, go to Shack, Momo. Go to Shack, go to Shack! He's TPing. Momo, just sit on his face. Maybe he'll stop chasing you. That's crazy. Why would you say that? Also, which face? Because doesn't he have like 7? No,
Oh,
Momo.
Momo down.
Momo down. That gen is almost done too. Honestly, I should have done that. You gotta put your peach on him. Maybe then he'll listen. Nice. He's already here.
Oh. Me being like, fuck this man. And he's here.
Oh, he's just going for you. I'm gonna try to get that gen
Okay,
done.
here, that's fine. He's CPing, so be careful.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for save. Oh, he didn't TP far enough. Did he see me though?
Oh yeah, he's staying over here.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm gonna have Mark heal me
again.
first.
Yeah, he's looking around. I think he's trying to figure out where to TP to.
He's not in his power though, so we'll be able to hear him.
Yeah, he.
Hi, Sugar P. Thank you for the check-in. All right, I'm gonna go to Hook. Is he still roaming?
No, he's not over here. I don't
Okay,
see
Mark's
him.
gonna try to finish the gen. He can afford a Hook too. It's okay. We're gonna get out. Thank you for the check-in, Rambo. Thank you guys. Rambo, would you prefer I call you Rambo? Sugar P, how are you? Here, let me heal you. And then we'll be on our merry way. He's coming right over here. Oh, 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 oh. No, crawl, crawl. Ah, so close.
Well, he sees me.
I'm going straight for save. Come on, this way. Come on, come on. No. Oh, Mark went the wrong way.
Oh fuck, he got me.
No.
I thought he was gonna go the other way, but he didn't. Get out, get Hatch, one of you.
Get Hatch. Yeah, it's Hatch at Shack. So maybe we'll just stay near Shack. Come here, come here. Let me heal you. How close is he? He's here.
Wow, I can't believe they got the straight people out. It's crazy.
No! Pick me up, please! No, he's gonna slug me, you freak of nature!
Oh, this is sick. This is sick. Oh, great.
You won't, you freak. Yeah, just hide. Just hide. He don't even know. Just hide.
Anne Hathaway, who?
Did you ever play the song? Yeah, I played. No, it's okay. I can re-queue it. It's not that. It's not a big deal. I wish I had conviction or something. Here, I'll add it to queue again. Sugar P, how are you doing, friend? Welcome. I was asking you, Rambo, like, should I call you something else, or is Rambo okay? No. Okay. Go to Shack! Go to Shack! Crawl to Shack! It's not the window side. You have to go to the side with the wall. Go to Shack! Rambo, Lee, Striker? I mean, whatever is fine. Okay, period. I'll just call you Rambo. No! It was too fast. I died too slow. Okay. Good try, guys. Guys, he was scary.
He was really good. I'll give him that.
Touche. Kevin is playing this game called Villainous, and I was like, "What's Villainous?" He goes, "A fucking Disney strategy game." Oh, it's a card game. He's such a Disney freak. Hi, Bong. What's up? How are you? We love our Kevin.
Which reminds me, did I message him back? I did. Oh.
Ryan, have you been liking your new job?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. It's so good. Yeah, I know. That sounded so unenthusiastic.
It sounded so sarcastic.
Yeah, you know, it's so good.
Yeah.
No, but no, it's really good. I do enjoy it. Made lots of friends. And I'm just like, I'm ready to get out of training because like I've never done sales, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, but it's like it's close to where I live. I don't have to like do a long commute. I work from home Monday and Friday.
Period. And period.
Sign
And
me
that's all
up.
period. Sign me up, literally. It has different expansions. Ooh. Is it like a game like Exploding Kittens? I'm good. About to head into work. I forget you work the night shifts. We're doing good. We've been having some fun games. Honestly, there haven't been bad games, except for the one where the Springtrap literally slugged us.
I was just like, I'm getting each and every one of you out.
I was just so confused because I think it was the same guy.
Entirely possible.
I don't know. We'll have to check the records.
Computer, check the records and see who it was.
Computer, do a background check on the killer.
Computer, blow up the killer's computer.
Blow up his computer. It's crazy.
Oh, which I do have a K-pop music video to send you.
Oh, should we play it on stream right now? Well, not the video, but the song.
If you want to listen to it, it's chill, but like, it's like LGBT as fuck, and I was like, maybe Justin would appreciate this.
I feel like K-pop is already LGBT by nature.
No, this is extra LGBT as fuck.
Oh, okay, yeah. Send the link. Drop the link. I'm glad y'all been having good games. I'm glad I'll be getting to watch stream. Yes. Wait, what did you say, Ryan?
Drop the jam so I know it's real.
Yeah, drop the jam link so I know it's real. Rambo, that song was actually pretty good. Hopefully work goes well. Yeah. I hope you have a good shift, and we're happy to keep you company. We just really started stream.
Okay, there we go.
Wait, did you send it?
I just sent it to you on Discord.
Per.
Okay, per.
Oh, this reminds me. I should play New Jeans.
Oh, you got into New Jeans?
Well, no, there's one song I know from New Jeans before I knew who New Jeans was. ETA.
Oh, yeah.
I think ETA
Don't go
was
that way.
it. Yeah.
Move. Momo tried to sandbag me. Crazy.
Oh, so that's what we're doing. Another Springtrap, please.
Yes, a quiet one.
Oh, quiet when exiting the security room.
Oh no, just he's the one that's like really quiet either way.
Oh, okay. I got the first one. Oh, for Villainous when it's cheaper. Ooh, we love Hades. And Maleficent, period. Bong, Rambo, what did you guys get up to this weekend? What did you do besides work? What did you guys do today? I asked Matt this, but yeah, what was one good thing that happened today?
Fuck, okay.
I'm gonna try to just pop the gen first. Sorry.
Oh, he's really good at his hatchets, so be careful.
Okay. Like he pops them. Pops them
Yeah, no,
up.
he whacked me with one from a distance. Okay, he went around.
I'm going straight for hook. Momo, I got you. Going for hook. He's looking for Mark. Get out of there.
Oh. Oh, at least he doesn't touch me, period. Okay.
Oh, sorry, Ryan. I didn't know where you were.
Huh?
Literally, he's looking for you now.
Oh.
Oh, he actually hit me. That's fine. I just didn't want his scary little cutscene. I just didn't want that to happen. Mark gets another gen done. I played DBD with my cousin. Oh my god, Bong, we should totally play DBD together. And played Overwatch. Wait, you play Overwatch too? Did I know this? Be honest. I haven't played Overwatch in a little while. I would be down for that.
Oh, Lord. Okay, I'm going
Hey,
base.
you. Nice. It's okay. We have 3 gens done. But you are on death code, which, well, that happens sometimes.
Oh, so I'm just gonna pass away on hook. Don't.
No, please, don't.
Great, this was fun.
I wasn't being shady. I was
I'm literally just
counting.
gonna die.
Don't die. Momo's already running over there. I was like, what is this? It sounds so fun.
Oh no, like when I tell you it is so good. Like I want you to know I have it on repeat right now. That's why I didn't hear him pop up on me.
Oh, period. I hate his jump scare scene. Yeah, I hate it. Yeah, we should totally play. Yeah, me too. Wait, no, I hit Bong. I literally just started playing Overwatch again. And I was having a lot of fun. I just haven't played in a while. Because I have so many games I'm playing right now. I gotta add it back to my rotation. I'm gonna go for save.
Okay.
There's gen progress right outside of main.
Oh yeah, I see. I'm gonna try to work on that.
Oh. Run, don't run. Come here, come here. Let me heal you. Come, let me heal you. And then Mark and I are at Shack, working on the gen outside of Shack.
Okay, period.
Yeah, I need to add it back into the rotation, but I don't play on stream a lot. I'm actually been really enjoying Sims. And also, oh guys, would you be down to like watch Sims off stream if I stream it on Discord? Just watch all the boring stuff where me just grinding her out and getting her levels up. Oh, I thought I heard the door. What's wrong with you? On days I don't stream on Twitch, I just randomly went live at night while I played Sims. He's here.
Honestly, that'd be
And that's the last gen, guys. Hey, 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 hey. Momo, good try. That would have been sick. I would have been sick. That would have been sick and twisted, Momo. Oh, you almost got it, too. And we got the last gen done. Got the last gen done. Hey, hey, hey. Guys. Have my chases not been so much fun? W. Yeah, doors open. Doors open by Shaq. By Shaq, Momo. Go to Shaq. Go to Shaq. Nice. Keep going to Shaq. And Shaq Pallet's still up. I wish you could. Momo, clap once if you can hear me. No, Momo. Let's go to the door. He's getting worried. No, Momo.
Rip Momo.
Rip in peace, Momo. We love you. I'm at door.
Yeah, I'm right behind you.
I don't know where Mark went.
He's right behind me.
Okay, bet.
We all were together.
This is for Momo. Momo, your death will not be in vain.
Coming.
Ah.
He's gonna throw that axe.
Oh, it literally could have hit me. Lily, welcome in. How are you? Welcome in. Get your check-in. Yes, join Discord. Okay, so we totally will play Sims off stream. And I will literally just announce like, hey, live in my VC. If anybody want to watch me play with my chickens. Yeah, we just started our legacy challenge. Guys, that was a fun match. GG Momo, we love you. Take a shot for Momo. Oh, I ran out of strawberry lemonade.
A shot, but I work tomorrow.
Oh no, I'm not
Let me
taking a
go pull
shot.
one. Oh.
And you're
Well,
a bad
that's
influence. You're like, well, that's awkward, and then you just hear it in the background.
I know you just hear me working in the background.
I'm good, honey. Oh, you were partying all weekend? Okay, tell me about it. How were the parties? Was it like birthdays, kickbacks, just nice weather parties? You know, like it's sunny out, let's drink. Yeah, Bong, totally. Come join the Discord. I will definitely just announce when I'm playing Sims, like alone at home, and hang out with people. Sometimes being live on Twitch is like a lot. I'd rather just be on a call on Discord, no camera, chilling with no makeup on, you know.
Wait, are we missing somebody?
Oh, we lost Mark.
Oh. Okay, let's back up.
Yeah, back up. Here, let me text him. Maybe it's time for bed. Omar, welcome in. We went out to a bingo for our crew for Mardi Gras. Ooh. And then we were all drinking and took the party to a gay bar. Thank you for the raid. Who are you people? Thank you for shutting it out. There's. How are you doing, Not the double agent. Star Chief, welcome in. Good evening. Good evening. Omar, how are you? Thank you for the check-in. I'm here, but I'm also modding to Ronnie. Hi, Ronathan. Tell Ronathan I said hi. Here, I'll go in and I'll say hi to Ronnie. Ronathan. What's Ronnie playing? Oh, DBD. Oh, DBD, you say?
Let's see.
Okay, we got Mark back. Let's ready up.
Oh, reading up? Okay, sorry.
Yes.
My bad.
Oh no, I wasn't ready either. How was your stream? What did you stream today? Wait, let me go back to the shout out itself. Oh, DBD. Well, how are games? Our games have been really fun. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think we've had a single bad match. Even the slug match was fun. That we just got that. We got a killer twice. But that match was so short, it doesn't matter. It doesn't count anyway. Open DBD lobbies, love that. How are the open lobbies? I thought about open lobbies tonight, but I was just like, I'm gonna keep it intimate. Get the homies in the chat.
Okay, there we go. Okay, let's lock in. We
I'm gonna
got it.
change the music real quick. That's it. We're going back to Slater Radio. My first match was a 30-minute slugfest, and you still got out? Wait, 30 minutes long? That's commitment. I'm glad you got out though. Honestly, for the escape, it's worth it. I've been having some good loops. We still haven't gotten a 4 out though. That's the goal. It was me and a Dustin left, and he tried to sell me out. How dare he? Dustin, we trusted you.
Okay. Who do we think is gonna be here?
You know, I would not be mad at a Huntress, a Blight.
Oh, or a Billy.
A Billy would be fun. A Billy would be fun. Honestly, the more Jason gameplay I saw, the more excited I got to like see it and play against him.
No, literally, like
I like that he like they're saying that he feels like a mix of like Huntress and Gunslinger.
Yeah,
like
no,
in
no,
terms
no.
of how to play.
Fun.
Did you play the PTV?
Well, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry I missed that.
Oh, I didn't stream it. I was offline with it. Yeah. Oh, hey.
So you just took off your Hellfire Club shirt.
I don't know if you know this, but it's the Trapper.
Oh God. Trapper? Barely even
Don't ask
know
me
her.
how I know.
I couldn't even tell you how you know.
My psychic abilities are kicking in.
My spidey sense is tingling. I'm dead. Not me walking right over it too.
He's on the other side of the map setting up. I saw his aura for a second.
Okay, period.
But I saw that big ass trap next to you.
Yeah, I was like, I wonder who it is. Who could it be? Oh, I see him.
I love it when they like set the traps down while you're in move, and it's just like, okay, so I'm gonna leave.
I'm an idiot! I wasn't trying to do that.
Oh.
Nice, nice, nice. Nice. Mark, you icon! Mark, you icon!
I'm assuming there's a Momo over here.
Oh, yeah, Momo's by main. I'm on a pallet. He's picking Momo up.
Okay.
There's a hook right by Momo. I'm next.
Well, Diva, lock in.
Yeah, I'm locking in, I'm locking in. Here, ready? Watch him, watch him.
I'm on controller! I'm on controller! You wouldn't move from the pallet!
Sorry, I was trying to move! I was trying to move and he kept trying to heal me! I should have gone the other way. That was bad comms on my part.
No, you're good, you're good.
And this is why we preach change your keybinds on controller. Literally, I had to change my keybinds on controller. I added triangle. Because otherwise, I kept doing shit I didn't want to do. Anyway, that didn't happen.
Exactly. What match?
What match?
What match?
What list?
Oh my god.
That was crazy. Me trying to move and you just accidentally healing me when you're trying to just throw the pallet down.
Oh my god.
Well, right.
I just request.
Very much a just vote moment.
So when I make my Duel with Rosatoki compilation, I could throw that in.
Ow. Anyway. Big deep breath.
It didn't have. I know he's just like, dang, I really steamrolled him. And
Yeah, like oh, poor
there.
noobs. Poor babies. Oh, me a P100. Me a P100. You also a P100, aren't you?
I know.
Us just flopping hard.
What do you mean? We never left the lobby. When
Wait,
how do we
when did we
first?
flop? Oh, we were just watching a recap of someone else.
Exactly. We were watching somebody else's stream.
We were watching someone else's stream. It was Momo's stream. Just kidding.
Not so much on my mom.
I know. I'm sorry. I don't know. I got carried away. Momo's not even here to defend himself.
Me doing the Justin emote of the
Throwing your fist up like not too much. Nah, because I'd be giggling when survivors do that. You can instantly tell when survivors are controller. Stop it! I don't know how to. I literally wish I knew how to play keyboard mouse, but I'm too scared to learn.
You know what? Yeah. I'm gonna try and do mouse and keyboard this match because I have one. I'm just too scared.
I'm really scared to learn mouse and keyboard. Practice. Oh, okay. Makes even. You know. You know, I almost read that as ankles. I was like, practice ankles. What is that? I was like, is that a specific way to use your keyboards with your ankles? Yeah, practice breaking ankles. Trust. Yeah, literally. I played one match keyboard mouse. and it was so hard. There's Momo. He's gonna yell at me.
Hello.
Oh, hey,
Hi.
Momo.
I'm here to crash a party, bitches.
Party's
What's up?
here.
Ooh,
Party's
this isn't a safe space
here.
no more. I gotta go. Have fun.
Bye. It's about time. I came here to save Justin from you, after
Oh,
all.
You know, I am boring, so I get you. So I'll go ahead and go. Bye. Have a good time.
Have a good
Bye. Take
time.
care.
The girls are fighting.
Although the matches have been quite intense, I've still been having fun.
No,
I don't know about you guys.
we have been having such fun matches for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Agreed.
It's a Wesker.
We love.
Yes.
He's over by. He just left the main. I made my goal like a year and a half ago. He's and now I'm a moonwalking demon. Like I want to learn how to moonwalk, guys. And when Dad and Daddy are fighting, yeah, Dad and Daddy are fighting.
I'm crying.
He's screaming, Dad and Daddy. Wait.
And who's
hold
who?
on.
Who's who?
Who's who? That part. That part, Alex.
Alex, who's who? Oh my god, this
Period.
Momo and Deaf Daddy.
Thank you,
Okay,
Alex.
Alex.
I know that's right.
He is playing
playing.
Renato. That's fair.
Period.
That's a P100 Renato if I ever saw it, Alex. Wait, are you
Almost
P100
there.
yet?
No, close. P83. Oh, you were quick with that. No.
Ryan said no.
Jesus.
I gotta keep you humble.
I'm gonna go for Hook. Jen
I
and
gotta-
oh, okay, period. Jen and main is almost done.
Hey, oh.
Now gotta keep you humble. Thank you. Gotta keep you humble, please.
Oh, bitch.
Okay, Jen's finished. Finally.
No. You got me.
Yeah. There's a Hook up there.
Dude, hold on.
I'm gonna go for the Hook. Safe. Do you
Okay.
think he saw me? Do you think he saw me? He didn't see
Well,
me.
yeah.
I'm going to Momo. Not him finding Mark. Jam, thank you for the check-in. How are you, friend? How are you doing? Now you're trying to lurk for save. You gonna chunk your medkit at him, please? I didn't know the
That
pallet was
part.
dropped.
Hi, Jam.
Hey, fam. Let's see. I'm gonna go finish Mark's gen. Oh,
I can do Jeanette Shack.
I'm gonna move away because he's coming right back to this gen.
Or I can go for save.
Oh, he's looking around. Oh, he's paranoid. He knows I'm here. He smells me.
He smells me, it's crazy. He's going back to
Oh, he's
Hook.
going back to Hook. Yeah.
Yeah.
Run, run, run.
Run. He's got a gun.
Oh. Yeah, see?
Okay, Al Capone trade. We love it.
Not the Scarface.
I turned around. Where'd you go, Wesker? Fuck.
Oh yeah, Diva, go. Run. He's coming this way.
What gen? Where's your gen? Ryan.
The one that Mark was working on outside of Maine. I'm trying to take him away
Okay.
from it.
Okay, Mark's on.
Oh, and of course, I run over to you. Okay, I'm going back.
No, you're fine. I think that's Momo you're near.
Oh, is it? Oh yeah,
Just
that is.
all up in my
Yeah,
space.
I'm across the map from you. Mark!
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna put this one on death mode.
Please come here. Stop running. Why are you running? Come back. Okay, I'm healing him.
And the Momo just let me run on hook. Crazy.
I'm gonna go for Hook and Momo.
I'll go. I can get Hook. I'm close. I'm close.
Momo's
I
like,
was just waiting for
fine,
Wesker
I
to leave.
guess.
No,
Like, yeah,
Wesker was
just
around
pop
me.
on
I was
hook. Okay.
waiting for him to leave. You know what? Because of that, you can sit there.
The reassurance.
Yep, the reassurance.
I'm taking him away. I'm taking him away. Put your tentacle away, ho. Yeah, that's a roster.
Just heal me.
No! What did I get stuck on? What did I get stuck on?
Oh, hold on.
Who put that
Go
rock
spray
there?
yourself.
Huh?
Don't you gonna spray yourself?
Oh, I do. I forgot I had worms. Let's see.
I forgot I had worms. Dr. Jam, how are you doing? How was your weekend?
I'll go for the unhook, mind you.
I think Mark's coming. I think you should just focus
Is
on
it
the
safe? Okay. I think he's coming here anyways.
Yeah, I think he went over.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
Where'd you go, Ryan? Oh, fuck.
Oh, I went to the other side, to the box. So I'm on the other side of me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's got high ping.
His pingest is high.
Ping higher.
Ryan. I'm gonna leave that area of the gen.
I'm on my way back over there.
Alright, we're on our way too. Should we work on a different gen, do you think, or?
Yeah, maybe. Fuck, I
Yeah,
forgot. No, I didn't.
definitely this push. There's enough space across the map where, like, if you're doing one across the map, we
Yeah,
should be fine.
I'm gonna look for, maybe is there one in Shack? I haven't been to Shack yet.
I think so.
There is.
Oh,
'Cause
and
I
it's
see
being
this
worked
far
on, it
away.
has progress, let's go.
He left me?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
he just
Shack.
lost me. He's on me again.
How was Overwatch, Jam? Did you play that on stream? Or when did you stream that?
He
Was
did.
it the last time?
Mhm.
It was today he played it.
Oh, I missed stream. I'm so sorry. I hate. This is why I hate working weekends. Like the whole day. I can't hang out with my friends.
I know. I get so sad when I find out I missed a bestie stream.
Okay, he just kicked that gen. Momo, run away.
Oh, me going right back to that gen where he's
Yeah.
at. Let me leave again. Are you at Shack? You are at Shack.
I'm in shock. Yeah.
He follows my scratch marks.
I have
somewhere.
adrenaline, so.
all I can tell.
Adrenaline.
Oh yeah, he's right here.
Adrenaline. Shack.
Okay, so R2 is my vault now.
Oh, did you change your queue?
Did
Nice. It's about time.
Adren. Where did he go? Oh,
he's on me.
yeah. We're getting door outside of Maine.
Okay, bet.
Like right where this chase is happening.
Oh, is there? It's no way out again.
Oh my god, are you joking?
Absolutely not. And he hooked all four of us, so it's gonna be a minute. Ooh, I can't even get a flashlight save on you now. Damn, that would have been perfect. I hate that you can't blind out of a grab. Okay, the doors are unlocked now. Mark is
Okay.
on one, but he's
I
coming
can go
here.
for save. I can go for
Mark,
save.
be careful.
I can go for
Mark,
save.
be
I can go for
careful.
save.
He's going for Mark. No! Run! Run, Death Hug.
You need to get the door open. I'm gonna go for door.
Okay,
Yeah.
where is it? Over here. Oh, there's Mark too. Hold on.
He went back for door.
I see him. I'm in main.
He running into the corner.
He's got to remember me. So, Justin, if you come to the door by main, where we're healing, that might be best. Or just start a door.
Yeah, I'm on the other door.
Make sure you don't
Oh my
open it until he
god!
hits me.
Hi! Emarisa? Is that how you say your name? Welcome in. Thank you for the raid. I got door open.
Fuck, here he is.
I'm gonna go for Momo. No! Get out, get out. Wait, is your door open? Come to the other door. Go. No, this way.
What about Ryan?
I know, but we need to heal. We could all heal on the side.
True.
Wait, hold on. He
Fuck
went to Mark.
anyways.
No.
No!
Oh,
Go to the door.
we
Go to the
gotta
door. Go to the door.
Ooh, it's gonna be Blood Warden watch.
Oh.
Let's not manifest that.
Sorry. Been there, done that today.
No.
It is.
Emarisa, no fucking way. And is that a timer?
So many killers have been playing that today.
Is it a timer for Blood Woman?
Yeah, it is. It's a long timer though. Heal you. Just
going to
going in the
door.
locker.
He's indoor. I mean, what are we gonna
You're-
do?
You're so no. It was just funny watching you go in there.
You don't know a thing.
He's gonna come right
Run.
here. Shit, probably shouldn't have done that right in the open. That's my bad. I'm
Oh,
dead.
Nor.
Ryan, you guys can probably get out by now.
Ryan, where are you?
Go go.
I'm behind you.
Cut through main.
Running.
I don't see you at all.
So I'm at the door. It's still up. It's still up.
Oh, I see you. No, this is a
It
mess.
just went down.
Come to door. Go. What? Ryan. Sorry, Ryan. I tried. Sorry.
And one lives to tell the story. We love it.
That spiraled so quickly.
Report Justin for not taking hit. That's kind of crazy.
I was trying to.
No, you're good because I moved because I was like I had no idea where he was.
Oh, okay. That's fair. Oh well.
Blood Warden, Haywire,
It
and
was
No Way Out.
it was the scariest thing ever. Marisa, how was your stream? How was DVD? Oh, how were your games? Thank
Okay,
you for the
Momo.
raid.
I was waiting for you to notice.
I'm gonna put on V and I'm gonna dump these points.
We should know.
Bye, Mark. I think it's nighttime. Oh, he said he had fun playing.
Bye, Mark. Thank you for the
Bye.
games.
Alright. We still have to get all the homies out. That was a mess at the end. The comms were there though, like, who can deny it? The comms,
Yes.
The comms were calming, for the most part. Oh, excuse me.
Okay. What if we get a
Yes.
Myers?
A Myers?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be mad at it.
So what if, perchance, somebody was manifesting said Myers? You know, I don't know.
I'm down. Manifesting in Myers. I'm lighting my candles.
Well, how about you
Here,
ready up
here.
Brian Rosatoki so we can find out?
I mean, I was ready up this entire time. How about
Well, no, when
you
Mark
actually
left, you
learned
have to.
see?
When Mark left, you had to
No,
re-ready
yeah,
up.
I know, and I did re-ready up. That's like crazy that you would sit there and call me out when I wasn't.
How
ready
could you
up.
insinuate otherwise?
That is
Insane
so funny.
even.
If you want to see if your manifestation comes true, you know, you gotta ready up.
I'm sick.
I mean, I was ready up, but you know, you can believe whatever you want to believe. Maybe you looked at it wrong. Who knows?
I don't know. I'm just looking at what I see in front of me.
Well, it might be time for glasses then. I don't know.
Ooh, that's crazy. Calling me Unk. Because I am.
Well,
Because I am.
well, you know what they say. Eyesight is the first thing to go.
Oh, you heard it here first. Folks.
Oh. Well, then I don't need to
He
see
beat the
y'all
oldest
anymore.
one. Oh hell!
Nah, that's crazy, right?
Honestly, it's crazy because I just realized I read myself twice by calling you old and saying you need glasses because I wear glasses and I'm old.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
The
think we're
library's
all
open,
old.
but
I think we're all.
Just-
old.
I think we can all sing.
I think we're. Material girls. Oh, I wasn't ready. Sorry. Ooh, I have water. I thought I just had my water bottle. Guys, my whole body hurts today.
Oh no, what happened?
Just people buying rocks at my store with me carrying rocks.
Oh, honestly, real.
Like, I was like, and what are we doing with these rocks? Oh, I don't like this. I see her. She's going to Shack.
Oh,
I'm
I
at
don't
main
need
with
to-
Sable.
Hold on, let me tap back in. Well,
She's
you know
going
who's
around the
here?
perimeter.
oh, yep. Yep. She saw me. Oh, she left me. Okay.
She cut
Oh,
the
she
main.
left me.
Good try, Momo.
No, I absolutely flopped, but that's okay. She's coming.
Can I get a whiff?
Nice.
Yes. I thought she would go for the chase.
Manifesting, she's like the one I had earlier with the 300 ping.
Sable's just standing there. Thank you for the whip. Thank you, Momo.
I got you. She also has sloppy or weeping boots. I think it's weeping boots actually. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, she left me? Yeah, she went back to mid-gen.
Yeah, she's on Sable. We're working on the one on the outside.
He is so
Well, would
cute.
somebody want to like come to Shack and rub on me? I would appreciate that if somebody could.
Momo, are you okay doing that, or should I?
Well, I'm already here, but I'm kind of regretting
bet.
the decision. It's like when you meet
Oh, okay, never mind.
right?
Go ahead, go.
This needs to work, and there's no clean rooms, so no people.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
With the L trade is like, I know a place in a Shack and DVD.
No, please. Here's the basement in Shack.
Oh, she's here.
She doesn't. She wants nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
Fine.
Hey, did you want me?
She doesn't fall for fakes. Oh my god,
Wait,
she doesn't
no.
fall for fakes. No, so close. I need a resilience there, but I don't think so. Milk that hook.
Lying. I'll go for save, or you can finish your gen, or nope, she's coming out.
No, she's already on. For some reason, just left save. Let's go right. Let's go right.
Oh,
to
she
your-
whiffed.
Yeah,
Fiona.
It's almost
She
done.
goes for the
Ooh,
swing.
whiff. Oh. Yeah. She did eat with her dog a couple times, but like Diva. Oh, she's ego chasing girly. Oh fuck. She got me.
The giggle is crazy.
No, I was jumping in and out of the locker in front of her when she whistled.
Oh. That is too. Thank you.
You
I'm just gonna crouch all the way over. I'm just kidding.
Crying.
I'm gonna. Oh,
So she's coming back.
yeah.
Yeah, she's
Just
going
going
to
for the
Sable
gen.
No, she didn't.
Oh, she saw
She's looking
Scrap
for
Orange
Momo.
from- Oh. Momo, run! Oh, gift of pain, don't piss me off. I hate this bird. Oh, hello.
Oh,
She
was
left
it?
me. Nice, you guys finished it.
Where are you, Ryan?
I'm at the map, Jen, all the way on like edge map, and not by where the Jen you guys popped. Like when I say like edge map, I mean like on the opposite side.
Yeah, it's fine. I ran over. Is it my door or no?
Oh, it's by big tree.
Big tree. I'm by big tree.
Oh, okay, I see you. I see you. Turn around.
I hear you crying.
Fuck, she got me.
Yeah. Turn. Keep turning. Yep, go straight.
Oh, this gen.
Yeah, it was stable. You heard crying.
Oh, okay. Here, let me heal you. Sorry, Stable.
Double kill,
Meaning, like,
yeah,
I'm
you killed
my
me.
friends first. Oh, that's what I get.
Oh. Okay. Oh, okay. Was she coming right here?
Yep.
Stop love, run.
I'm going for save. You just want to run her away. Wow, Stable. Please. Why doesn't she want to hook Stable?
People running in front of me to get through the pallet first. I'm over it.
She put you down? Wig lift.
Yes.
One thing that wig will be lifted.
Oh no, I'm gonna
Going back for
die.
Jen.
Wait, Momo, where are you?
Oh, I'm gonna die. I accidentally ran into a tree and she grabbed me. I'm dead.
Momo,
Oh,
no.
Oh, she has a Mori.
Oh my god. Oh, she's frozen on my screen. Oh, there you go. The Mori's happening. Oh, it's happening.
I was gonna say, is she about to lag out? Crazy.
Not that it's happening. That's crazy. Watching me die. Sad. Escape and live to tell my story.
She's gonna camp that gen now. Okay, Sable's suing you then?
Yeah, we're all the way across the map.
She is
Moving around.
approaching
I see her.
Shack. She's going to Shack, yeah. I went back on the gen.
Oh, yep, she's on Sable.
Yeah, Stable can afford a hook. She should have been took a hook. No shade. Hi, Stargazer. Welcome in. Stargazer, we have a spot open. Do you want to play? I know
Hi,
it's kind of
Star.
late.
Hi, Star.
I know it's kind of late, but we're playing. We're playing for at least an hour. I'm not working tomorrow, so I think I'm gonna stay up a bit later.
Popped. Okay, let's go.
She went to the door. You freak.
Yeah, she's on me.
Went to hook. Or actually, I'm gonna open door, buy Shack, and then get hooked. Sorry, Stable. You can sit there.
Oh, you're fading.
You got this, please, Ryan.
I don't got this. I don't got this. The fact is, like, do you want to abandon?
Okay. Yes. I'm sorry I can't play. No, it's okay. Yeah, of course. Yes, we need to play soon. I would love to play again. You totally should play soon.
Okay, she's going to Sable. I'm gonna see if I can pick you up.
I hope you had a good weekend. Did you have an okay weekend? Tell me one good thing that happened today.
I owe you one.
Cause yeah, I think she's looping over by that door.
By the first door, or like the door where the gem popped.
Yeah, door where gem pop. And
I have
yeah,
resilience. I'm gonna try to get the door. Oh, you got it. You got it.
if anything, I say we don't open just yet. We heal, we can try and save.
Yeah. Well, let me heal you first. Oh, okay.
I'm glad you found me.
Yeah, no, the reason why, because I saw Sloppy Butcher, so I'm so mangled and hemorrhaged. Oh, she's actually right here.
Oh, Ryan. Ryan, what
Okay.
the heck just happened?
What? I took the
Hilarious.
for you, because if you would have got hit, you would have went down.
That's fair.
So
I was
knew
like,
had to
I thought
take
you
at least
left,
that
and then
hit.
I didn't even see you run past me. I was like, wait, Ryan, how did you get behind me? Like, what happened? Get behind me!
I'm always there.
You're always there. That's true.
Top jacket, get the paint, it splits.
That was for Momo.
Yes.
Sable, I guess.
Oh, not like that. It was for the
No,
Sable
the Sable did okay. Yep. I'm putting Gabe back on. I'm sorry, I can't go too long without him. He's just so, you know.
Yeah.
Real. Should I try to adept him?
Ooh, yes.
Let's try.
Adapting is fun. Even though I'll be right back, I need to go grab my phone charger. I'm on like
Okay.
3%.
Safe journeys.
Nope, dangerous.
Mom was like, don't trip.
Y'all don't know what tricks I got up my sleeve.
Momo putting a rock in front of me, be like, don't trip.
Well, yes.
Thank you for this, and you're looking for the other. I don't know what his other perks said. Because I'm a noob. Scavenger and troubleshooter. God. Oh, too late. Sneaky. How are you guys? Also, I don't know if you asked that or not. My audio is all messed up. Oh no.
I'm back.
Is it the Chad? I did ask how you were doing. Oh.
Oh, we start with tapes. Ill.
Well.
Oh, what does this add-on do? I don't think I've ever played against this add-on.
You start with the tape.
Oh, she just walked right past me. What the fuck? I don't even think she saw me. I asked if you if you could tell me one good thing that happened today.
She's
Here she
teleporting
go.
as fuck. Teleporting as fuck as fuck.
Is she over there? Everything okay?
No, because I can't use my item. Oh well, now I can't use it. But
Oh,
when I was
because
trying
of
to use my toolbox, it wasn't letting me use it. I'm trying to figure out why not.
Because your keybind's different, huh?
No, because of the tape.
No, because yeah, I think it was.
I think it's your keybind.
Yeah. And this is why I don't change my keybinds. Cause
I just changed mine to triangle.
Oh yeah. So you want to talk about that?
Sorry. No! Don't look at me! Look away! She's TPing right here.
Hey, so I left already.
I got that. Got that.
Oh, yeah, she
We're
wants
back
to
to
run.
the gen. I'm an idiot.
You're not.
She has
an
merciless, by the way.
Oh hell no! I'm not hitting any of my skill checks.
idiot. Would it be okay if I DC this match? I'm just asking for me.
Wait, no, it's fine. I 99 myself.
Yeah, it's not letting me do it. Okay. Maybe like I wonder where she is. She's not
She's on
coming
me.
this way. Okay, there we go.
She TP'd. Now who told you to come up right behind me, girl?
Oh, she's here. This bitch. You swampy bitch.
Oh, she wants.
Done teleported already.
She TP'd to me again.
I can't stand when they play like this.
They love these builds.
I don't know how she really works, so I don't know what she can and can't see.
Honestly, it's how can I word it? It's like monotonous. You just really have to stay on top of your tapes so that way you don't get condemned. Okay, which Moni man wants to get dealt with first?
You were distracted.
Oh. Yeah. The merciless.
It was literally Ryan
Don't blame
dancing
that on me.
around.
Hold on. Don't blame
with
that on
the
me.
merciless storm.
I've been on Gen with you all this entire match.
here?
I know.
Yes.
Yeah.
How did y'all know before I did?
I'm
back on
because
the
it
gen, I'm back
it
on
got
just
really
kidding.
quiet.
Yeah, plus I have the heartbeat indicator on, so whenever like we're in the like area of
Me
what
too.
should be.
I didn't
Oh
even
yeah, then they
notice.
didn't see it was foggy for you. Oh yeah, when she's demanifested, it's foggy. When she gets close.
One good thing that happened to me today was I got to see a friend. Isn't that the best when you get to see a friend you haven't seen in so long?
Am I 99ing you?
Yeah. I have to get a tape though.
Yeah, you and Kate need to.
Oh, Kate
Shit!
just-
Sorry, guys. She
Kate
scared the
just
shit out
taped.
of me. I'm so sorry for screaming.
No, it's okay. I am
You're
the
good.
king of Scream, okay?
She done demanifested right in front of my face and it scared me.
Right
I thought
in
it was
front
in
of
the
your
Ring
salad.
movies. I hate her. I gotta fan myself real quick.
Just run.
I can't. I had no idea where she was. I don't know what she can see. Like, could she see me near the TV? Or hear my, like, moans?
Yeah, she can hear your moans. I believe there's an add-on to see people near the TVs. But also another thing is like when you're near a TV, that's when it also kind of how can I word it? It turns on in a sense. Ooh, diva. Okay.
How's DBD been? DBD has been fun. We've had nothing but good games. Like, honestly, all the games have been fun. Oh my god!
Nice.
I caught that on
Let's go,
candid
let's go,
camera.
let's
I caught that
go.
on candid camera.
W candid camera. I know she fucking mad.
I'm gonna die.
Where
Oh
is that
my
swing?
god.
Yeah, go get a tape.
Oh my god, you're gonna be worried.
I'll take it down for you.
The TV's all the way across the map.
Oh, Kate's also condemned.
Oh, she found Kate. She found Kate. She found Kate. It's over. I tried to come take a hit.
We should just do.
Oh, she's getting worried. It's over for her.
Yeah.
Oh, 7 Catherine.
Kate!
It
We
is-
love condemned
it is
Sadako.
yours.
Sadako. Honestly, I'm a little scared.
She's coming.
This is some scary shit! Broke our gen. She left our gen. Back to gen.
Oh, of course you're right here.
Alex, I'm scared.
Fuck, I'm condemned.
Hey, yeah. Oh, and
I'm
you're gonna
so
die.
bad at this game.
Where the fuck are you?
So bad. Yeah, where are you? Where are you? Where are you?
Right there.
Oh, Diva. How did you get condemned like that?
It's saving everybody else.
That's true.
Sometimes you gotta put your oxygen mask on first, you know? Oh, she teleported again. This
Yeah,
bitch.
I'm just gonna go for the TV.
Okay, good luck. I'm just gonna accept my fate.
Does she get a notification when tapes are taken? Maybe she just
I don't think so.
she just wants you to rewind your tapes.
Before returning them. W
Oh
Blockbuster.
right. Honestly, Blockbuster's so real.
Honestly, truthfully.
No, she found you.
Yeah. Just keep working on the gen. I hit her. Hit her again. Hit her again. No, please. No, please. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Momo, hatchet shack. Hatchet shack. Hatchet shack.
I'm there. I'm there. I'm scared. I wish I had Iron Will. She's teleporting as fuck. Shut this TV off. Are you not? Oh, are you hitting skill checks?
No, I'm not. I'm missing them. I'm missing them. No, 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 no. I've been missing them.
Imagine. You could hit
She's on
skill
me.
checks. It's fine.
She's looking at you. I can't die fast enough.
Oh no! This is the end.
Well? Oh man, GG's. GG's. Good try, guys.
Oh, they were adapting.
Oh, they were?
Oh, nice. You know
I
what?
never, I never got my perks on.
Justin, I have a fourth ink if you would like a fourth.
Oh
person.
yeah, of course. A friend of Momo's is a friend of mine.
They're a friend of ours.
Oh, I know.
It's
Oh my
Nia.
god. Yeah.
Nia. Anita Paleta is so fun.
Her alter ego.
I kind of live. And Scavenger, right? Scavenger. Scandinavian.
Oh, period.
How do I take off a perk? How do I make it 3? Do I just...
You gotta select the perk that you're trying to take off.
Oh, I see. You're laughing at me?
No. I'm in game chat with Nia. And
Uh-huh.
so, first question is, do I even want to know who Sean Cody is?
Oh no!
Honestly,
not
I'm not
that.
sure. I'm not sure she wants to know.
She should, you know. Let's educate.
Honestly,
it's Pride Month. We
it's
need to educate
Gay
those
rights.
who are not cultured on this. It's gay rights, literally.
Please.
It's Pride Month. Be who you are. Hi, Vox.
Oh, hi, Vox.
Voxy, hi Vox. OMG are all my favorite girls in comms. Yeah, all the homies.
So nice to see you.
All the best people are here. How are you doing, Vox? How's your Sunday? I miss you, girls. Oh, Vox, are you already away on your conference? Are you already running up that corporate card? Be honest. Good. I took niece and nephew to watch the new Baby Yoda movie. Ooh, I love how you said the Baby Yoda movie like it's not about somebody else. Not yet. That's following week. Oh, okay. Nice. You have some time. I forget that you're a gunkle. Like, I'm sure you love your niece and nephew. I feel like you hang out with them. All the icons are here, literally. Everyone's here on this Sunday fun day. I hope everyone's having a good weekend. How was the movie, Vox? You're never gonna take me out. Ow. Sushi.
Oh, Midwich.
Guys, I don't want to do this. I hate this place so much.
Well, I'm glad I didn't DC last match, so I could DC in this one, and then I just go.
It's a huntress.
Oh, we got this. We can do this.
Yeah.
Okay, so she found me.
It's good and cute. Ooh. And I don't like Pedro Pascal, so that's just a lot. You're like, if Pedro Pascal has no haters, I'm dead. Who are you playing with, Justin? I'm playing with Momo, and I'm playing with Ryan, and we're playing with Mia.
She's protective of her gens.
No, she holds that axe in the air.
Yes, hi Rambo.
Hi, Rainbow.
It's
Damn! Hi, Barbie. Welcome in. Get your check-ins, guys. Keep calling me back, girl. I'm gonna have to sit on your face. Huh?
Run.
Welcome back, girl. Oh, baby girl. Baby girl.
Oh, she's
Let me
going
see
after
your
you.
ass.
Oh.
Twirl.
Diva,
Hi, Barbie.
not
Thank you for the check-in. How are you doing tonight? Fox, get your check-in. How are you doing, Barbie? Barbie, when are we gonna play? We should totally get some games in soon.
I reassured.
Okay, period.
Oh, she's hungry. She just reloaded.
Yeah, I'm running
Went into
upstairs.
the hallway. I was talking about. Oh. Don't mind me. Let me just see myself out of the conversation.
Rambo said, mind your business.
Yeah, Rambo was like, and who the fuck was talking to you, Justin? How are you? We're doing good. I had, you said Momo, and who are the other two? I missed the other names. Ryan and
Ryan being Rosa Toki.
Rosa Toki. Rosa Ryan, Rosa Toki. Sorry. Oh,
It's
yes,
funny,
Benedictus
I
is fine.
love-
Let's do it.
That you guys are just like, yeah, right.
Only the real
I'm like,
ones
you know
call
what,
you
that's-
Ryan. You know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, truthfully.
Stop playing with him, Ryan. Start
Please. Stop playing with him, right? You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna record you saying that, and that's gonna be like the intro to my channel trailer. I got you. Is anybody going for Nia?
I am.
Okay.
I forgot I have no perks on, or I have Gabe's perks on. Like,
Ryan
we
does
doing?
stream.
yeah, Ryan does stream. I mean, unless you want.
I'm pretty
that,
sure
just
you've-
no. Hi.
You've been in there. No? Rambo?
I think Rambo has definitely been in Rosa's stream.
Let's run. Let's go. Go. Help! Now she's shouting me out. And when I time you out, then what?
Do it.
Girl, put that
I like the
hatchet
void.
down.
Momo, is anybody coming for you?
I had to take her away from him.
Okay.
No, we got two people upstairs and...
Me and Nia up there.
Okay, I'm
Oh
ready.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm over here.
She's
I just
camping
dropped
Hook,
down.
maybe? Question mark?
No, she's not down here. I hear the lullaby, but run, she's coming. Oh, she's approaching, and with the quickness.
How was my weekend? My weekend was good. I work on the weekends. I work Saturdays and Sundays. So I'm kind of tired like,
Yeah.
physically, but I'm so happy to be streaming. So I missed all my friends. Missed all my friends. I was just asking for a friend if Justin wants to a box weekend. Oh.
Oh. Hello.
That's hilarious.
That's
I knew we probably... I don't know why I stopped to heal here. I should have taken you elsewhere.
Can I come down to get him?
Yeah, I'm taking her outside.
Oh, I'm coming.
Yep, she's still on me.
It's made. I have made for this. Oh yeah.
Okay, she left me.
She hit me.
Ooh, yeah, I was
Damn.
like, I made her whiff, and then I like ducked her.
You can take the window.
She was like, you know, I'm gonna go.
She ate me up. She ate me up. I know, Vox.
No, I miss you all. I miss hanging out on stream and I miss hanging out in chat with you guys. And I feel like I haven't spoken to you in like no more than mine. No.
That's fine. I can take it.
Mia's got me.
I thought she was gonna just look for me. Just trying to see what she was gonna do. I'm going right for hook.
Thank you, Nia. Ooh, Huntress is here. She wants to take me out of this world.
She
wants
said,
me out
and
of
you
here. So,
get out.
You gotta go. Yeah.
Oh,
I was gonna heal you. Oh.
no, Puli, I'm healing you first.
Not my Momo. That's how I was like talking to Vox. Like, I'm not just coming at you like that.
Did you want me 1990, by the way?
Sharing is caring, huh?
I was asking if you want me 1999 you.
No. Go, go.
Justin! No!
I can't afford a hook.
No, I just want to be dramatic. Okay, let's see.
Oh, let me change my whole like. What? Why am I carrying a med kit? Like, what am I doing? Or of the generator most progress. Whenever you drop a pallet, you see killer's aura. Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay.
Fuck! I got stuck on the bathroom stall.
Where would Shack be?
There is no shack, baby.
Because there's no shack, there's no hatch at shack.
Yeah, it's gonna spawn anywhere it wants to.
Okay. I'm literally forcing myself out.
Oh, no, I think Nia's running for you.
I know, but Nia don't. But Nia don't. But Nia don't. But Nia don't. Nia, eat her up. Eat her up. Ah, Nia, good job. I'm like, I just met Justin. I'm not trying to scare him away. Okay. Ryan, you got this. Ryan Hatch.
We're manifesting.
Sean Cody, you got this. I mean, ew. Oh, inside the room. Hell damn, Skippy!
Come on, Hatch Princess. Let's
What the fuck
go.
I'm talking about? Sean
Her name
Cody,
is
LOL.
Pinga.
That's literally Rosa's rename. Heck, Sean Cody. Let me put a fucking toolbox on. What the hell am I doing?
Oh, yeah, no, she had nowhere to hide, nurses calling discordance and deadlock.
I'm sick.
She's like, I need to know where they are at all time. One sec. I just gotta add something to my toolbox. Oh, I got a brand new part period.
Barbie, if you're still here, yeah, I had worked the last 2
Oh,
days, so I get pretty physically tired. And yeah, we're just streaming. I just installed my friends. I mean, if my aim was as bad as that Huntress, I'd be using aura perks too. And aura perks and M1ing people too. I feel like she only hit me with the hatchet. What survivor is this? The tight hoochie daddy shorts. This is game, and he is. He is scrumdiddlyumptious.
Not scrumdiddlyumptious.
He got the toes out and everything. Gabe? Yeah. Gabriel Soma.
언제 이 악몽에서 깨어날 수 있을까?
Is that Tay Tay? Tay Tay. He must not be trying to go home tonight showing all that. I mean, look at him. Excuse me. Excusez-moi. Alright, I'm locking in. I haven't played with the toolbox in a minute.
Got you. We're locked in. It's Locktober. We're about to eat. Trust.
It's Locktober. That is crazy.
We got this.
Crazy boot. Look like those shorts are struggling to contain that. Well, yes. The bulge is bulgy. That's why we wear those shorts.
I just want to thank whatever developer was like, yeah, we need to like do this.
Let's pack his Ken crotch to the brim. Not this Rambo. Jam. Jam's like, please. Oh my god, another horrible map. This map also just brings me no joy.
I remember last time we were on this map together during 2v8, and I got lost trying to save somebody and die.
Like, literally. Oh, it's an Oni.
Oh, Kazan Yamaoka, my love. Oh,
it's a teddy bear.
Come on, Diva. Lock in. Okay, so.
He left me. I don't think he knows where it went. Yeah, thank you. My hero. Want a spanking?
Oh.
You got this, Ryan. Oh, I should have just said.
No, I ran into the dead end. It was my fault. Is there a pallet over here? There's no pallet? Okay.
I mean, I think it's just the one you dropped.
No.
Because I didn't drop a pallet.
Did he leave me again? Oh. Kazan Yamaoka, leave me alone.
He has oppression or whatever that thing is called, where you have the random small skill.
Yeah, I got that too.
Hey, so I might have to mute myself.
Oh, why?
A Genie by Girls' Generation just came on and it's getting close to the end, so I'm gonna be doing all the ad-libs and I'm not about to be hooting and hollering and howling.
Oh.
So I'll
Let
be
it
at
out. Fuck is he?
It's on me.
I see. I'll go for the underhook.
Oh, puta! Well, yeah, Sam.
Nice try.
No, I just got scared. I should have known better.
Oh, he has the thing where the blood orbs stay?
Oh,
Are you saboing the hook? While singing, probably.
yeah. Literally gleefully singing. Ad-libs.
And look, now he's
Ad-libbing
here.
for what now? Oh, God.
Oh no! I think with this add-on, you can... If you walk through the blood orbs, you can absorb them instead.
Thank you for the lurk, Agent Nice. Thanks for coming in. Get your check-in. Oh, just really coming back to me. Why is he being weird? I got a key, guys.
Period.
Me looking for another generator somewhere, anywhere.
Me and Ryan are in main. Yeah, you can see. Okay. Yeah, okay. You two are here. I'll go for...
I'm gonna go for another gen. If I can find it. Here we go again.
Hopefully Ryan's going for...
Yeah, Ryan went for save.
I'm in main. In main.
Oh my god, not the oppression. Go check.
He's so respectful. He left me, he left me. He's going towards you, I think, Justin, maybe? I don't know. I can't tell.
I don't hear him.
No,
yet.
that wasn't you. It was somebody else. It was somebody else.
Momo, you hit him up. You got him scared. He doesn't want that.
Couldn't catch up for some reason. He wasn't in chase mostly.
Okay, so
Gabe,
I'm back,
Carlos,
and
David,
I
Felix,
messed
Victoria,
up.
Leon are all coming over to my place and never leaving. I'm even holding him captive.
Ooh, that part?
Honestly, can I join Rambo?
I'm dead.
'Cause
Yeah, we have a party.
That lineup, I'll add a few. You know what? I'll bring a few extra survivors with me. How about that?
You don't run past me.
I know. I thought I could finish the jam too.
Oh, Mama, I want you to know, my controller kind of slipped and it got stuck on the R2 button. That's why I did a stab while you're trying to heal me.
Oh, right.
Oh,
We're gonna
completely
blame.
accidental. No, it
We're gonna
was.
blame it on that. Hey, noted. Excuses. Excuses.
You see, I try to provide valid reasons for what happened.
No, Momo,
and I
Momo, don't
use
come
those
here, don't come here.
excuses.
Oh my god, just. Oh, I was gonna go for Ryan.
Shit! Exactly, Jam. I was gonna mention Adam. Adam was
Ooh.
coming along.
Yup, Adam.
Who's Adam? I don't know who that is. Oh!
The survivor,
Honestly,
Adam.
Rambo. Adam needs to be added to that list expeditiously.
Oh, you're in basement.
gonna come right the fuck back here too.
I shall, Rambo. I shall.
Not there, buddy. How do you know where?
Hold on. I'm waiting for him.
How did
Okay,
he know?
Alright, let's go.
No, Justin.
GG's.
GG's, Justin.
Bring Ken and
Justice.
Momo. Oh, not a whole party.
Right? Justice for Justin. Like it is justice for Jessica.
Justice for justice.
That's what's going on.
Justice for
know.
Manon. Honestly, it's me killing Mike at the end. I don't know why I haven't done this.
Screaming.
Rest in peace, Mike.
It wasn't
The
even on
hottie.
purpose. I didn't know what I was doing.
Oh, there's no pallet there. Oh, he left me. Okay. I'm skinny.
Ryan!
I forgot to tell you I had a salad before stream.
Honestly,
My
I
bad.
fucking-
Okay.
Honestly, you ate him up. You ate him the fuck up.
That dude was like, you kind of embarrassed him, so we gotta give him that one. Because that was close enough to the pallet where I could have threw it down, but for some reason it didn't.
I know, I thought you were gonna hit him too. He's going back for a hook. Oh no, he's still on Momo. Momo, you! I just watched that all live, front row seats.
Quit watching me. I'm gonna flop.
Wait, hold on, Momo, that was hot.
scared.
Wait, eat him
Hot
up.
sexy, hot sexy.
No, literally.
I have a fear and a fright.
Me too.
I stole your key, Justin.
He's like circling Momo like a shark.
There's so many doors where he could come from. Okay, he left me.
you.
Nice. And I have adrenaline, so.
Okay, yeah. He's on the jet that he's been trying to like stop from
You know.
the
Nia! Justice for Nia.
Oh, eating that man up? Like literally. The bear didn't stand a chance. The bear was too stunned to speak.
There he is.
Oh, look at him slurping his bubble. Yeah.
I know, for free! Oh, whoops, my bad. Stop!
He sucked his bubbles.
Oh, not stuck in her fucking head. My god.
And normally for Oni, it's a yes. But not Bear Oni, please.
You have adrenaline, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Momito! Oh my god, let him breathe, let him get up, Momo!
Hurry, hurry, finish it!
Let's go!
Yay!
Oh, doors are on the same side.
It's okay.
He left,
Coming
he's in
after
his
you.
power. Yeah, I behind the door.
The giggle, I'm crying. Help, I'm
It's 'cause
scared.
just watching Ryan just crouch behind the door. No!
He found you? No!
Yeah, it's okay, you have to go to the door,
Okay.
Momo.
I'm going. Eat him up. You got this. Oh, he's gonna
Go
do a
back to
180
door.
towards me.
No. Go.
The other door. I'm committing. I'm
Fuck, I don't.
committing.
If you can go back, Ryan.
Yep.
Almost on
He's
the
going
door.
back to that door.
Almost run.
Fuck! Look at him. Look at him. Just big.
He
Just
doesn't
big and
know what to
angry.
do. Look at him sniffing. Like, how would he sniff?
Fuck my life.
Is he out of power?
Yeah, he's out of power, but he's sucking.
Okay, I'm trying my door. I'm gonna
He's
see
sucking
if
bubbles.
I can open this and come and take it for you so we can make it.
I'm gonna die.
Don't die.
He left me.
He went back
Are
to
you at the
door.
other door?
Yeah,
You are.
yeah.
Okay.
Go.
We're gonna get the 2 out.
Oh,
Nice.
let's go. W2 out. Let's go.
W.
We love it.
Loving the homies to get out. That was an intense match at the end there.
It was. I was clenched.
Dr. Jam. Yeah, Team Mad. Yeah, he could not take. Guys, I'm trying to adapt, okay? We're gonna have a good loadout on. Or, like, at least a loadout I know.
Oh, nowhere to hide, oppression, barbecue, chili, lethal. Oh, so another one was like, I need to know where you are at all times. Okay.
But he never
Got
opened
you.
Lethal Pursuer. What does that do? Like, isn't that the opening? Of
At the beginning of the match, you start with Aura.
Oh, just at the beginning.
Yeah.
No, but then every time, if you have other aura reading perks, every time Survivor aura is revealed, Lethal Pursuer will extend it by a few seconds, which is nice.
Oh, I actually never knew that.
It was
Whose
an
perk
added
is
thing
that?
that they did.
Nemesis.
Oh,
Yeah.
then-
I don't know if it was. I think they must have reworked it because people were saying like it just sucks that you use it for like 10 seconds at the start and that's it.
Yeah.
So
I feel it.
they added that so it extends aura reading in general, which is nice. It's helpful. Honestly, I can't get over the Fung Min Crow badge. Did y'all see it?
So cute.
No, I haven't
It's
seen it.
adorable. It's the badge I'm wearing right now. It's one of the anniversary rewards, I think. It's
Really?
adorable. I think there's gonna be one for Gabriel, no? Let me see. Oh, I can't look at my quest right now.
Yeah, hold on. I'll look. Ooh.
Okay, manifesting.
Manifesting? And what about
Yeah,
one
man.
manifesting?
You know what? That's tier. Well, manifesting is frying me so bad.
It's so stupid. Dark, lock it.
Please.
Clock it. Is everybody excited
Honestly,
for
would it
work
be?
tomorrow? Oh, what was that?
No.
No, next question.
Absolutely no.
What were you gonna say? Honestly, what?
Oh no, I was gonna say, would it be crazy if I put in an order for Swig like 2 minutes before they close?
Do it.
Do it. Who you
Yes.
calling Pinhead?
Yeah, that part.
Okay, I found the box. Somebody get in chase with them.
Oh,
Here.
here goes Nia. Nia said herd. Herd. I can't find a pallet. I mean, not a pallet. Jen.
So we're Jen in mid, where it's bottom, mid, top, and then on the right. So
Bottom.
you should be familiar with that.
Oh.
That's the drone top like yourself, you know.
Right.
Guys, what the hell just happened to me?
It's still unhugged.
Well, yeah, no, he did not turn around. He was just like, okay, I'm gonna go over here. Let's, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, let's get away from the pallet. I had to run with one hand because I was scratching my face.
Oh my god.
I couldn't look behind. I couldn't look behind. Or I was only looking behind me. I couldn't turn my camera. Looking for.
Okay, period. I'm gonna go do the box again.
Well, this back area is. Is there a Jen outside? No Jen outside. That's lovely.
Okay,
Upstairs.
if you want to go top of main, I
Yeah.
can do bottom and main.
Okay.
Because, yeah, it looks like Nia's top of main, too. So if we get rid of those two, we should have an easier time.
Yep.
I'm outside.
Yeah, I see Nia.
Oh my god, he got me with the chains. No, 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 no.
No, 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 no.
Literally that. No, he got me
Hi,
again.
Sir Knock. What's up? What
Hi,
a
Knock.
cunt. Hi, Knock.
Hi, Knock.
Knock, get your check-in. Yes.
Does he have friends till the end? Oh, Jesus, where did he come from?
Oh, not him, the yoink. The yoink is crazy.
He scared me because I was, like, looking around and I didn't see him.
Oh my god, I'm exposed. I'm gonna die. M1 me, you freak! Like, come on, hit me.
Momo, I'm coming to grab you. There we go.
He left me. No, he didn't. Oh my god, it's just like the chain.
Nice. Nice try. How's work, Knock?
Hi, Knock. Are you at work right now, Knock? What time do you get off of work tonight?
Maybe he works nights.
Oh, you work nights, so you just started like an hour. Oh, you're home. Wow.
Oh, you do be home? You're home tonight? Nice. I thought you were working.
So Mom was a liar.
I am.
OnlyFans? Wouldn't you like to know?
Grab the box.
Are you going for the unhug? I'll
Yeah.
go for the box.
How are you doing, Jay? Never.
Run, 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 run.
I hate this guy so much.
I reassured Nia.
Okay, period.
I'm gonna do the box.
Yep.
I'm gonna go get Nia.
Oh my god, I realized I flopped. Hold on.
Hook's done.
I might die on Hook, but
Oh, friends.
honestly, I chose one.
Hi, Darlene.
Hi, Darlene. Welcome in. Happy Pride Month. Well, yeah.
Not me running right in front of his face. No!
I was telling Stream earlier that it's Pride Fest this weekend here where I live. It's like a 4-day event. I'm so excited. And it's basically like a day, like a music festival for 2 days. They have like DJs and like drag performances and all that. And the furries be out, let me tell you. Oh!
Yeah, I figured he was coming up those damn stairs.
How you doing, Darlene? Darlene, how's it going? How are you doing tonight? How's your weekend? Doc, how was your weekend?
Thank you, Justino.
Oh, that is
Oh,
both
sorry.
running into the corner.
Awkward.
The way we both flopped so hard getting out of there.
Literally. Yes,
Okay,
juice.
so next regen, there's one outside in the courtyard. There's
yeah.
one floor in the document room, and then the one I'm working on outside the office, chief's office.
Kinda lost. Let me figure my way out.
By courtyard, you meant upstairs?
No, outside, downstairs.
Like in front of the building?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm on.
Okay.
Gotta lift it up. Buy a BRB cookie, gotta let the doggy out?
Amo?
Okay, bet.
Go upstairs.
I'll go for Nia.
Weekend has been pretty neat. What'd you
Oh,
get up to
friends,
this
never
weekend?
mind. I'm gonna die.
You
That
just
guy.
woke up from a nap?
Fuck,
I wish I had a nap today. A nap? It's so late to be waking up from a nap. What time is it for you, Darlene? Oh, games have been a lot of fun. Honestly, I'm not mad at any of the games that have been played today. Were you
I'm
one?
dead.
Never. No, we found Nia.
Fuck. Okay.
I know, poor Momo. Right in front of my salad. He's coming from upstairs.
Okay. Oh.
He's not him trying.
Well, he's ambitious.
What other gen? Oh, you said document room. Oh, he's after me.
Okay, well, if you want to do that, because it's like outside of the
I can't.
Oh,
I'm in the
we're on
office.
two.
He's on Chase. He's on Chase.
Oh no, that's fine because it's Chief's office upstairs. Look for 2 gens, Bessie. I got you.
I'm gonna try.
I'm gonna pop this and run for a box so that I can hopefully solve it and it should be good.
Oh, I'm an idiot!
GG's.
The chains are so annoying. Nia, welcome in. Thank you for all the saves, friends. You were doing so good this whole time, my hero. Thank you for coming in.
Nia is a juicer through and through. I hate to admit it. Don't tell her I said that.
Girl, this is why my schedule ain't shit. Your schedule is your schedule all kinds of walks.
Oh.
Like, no. Sorry. Oh. Oh, I have to listen to Momo is correct.
Oh, I'll mute myself. I'll make it a safe space, trust.
Stop, I've been flopping. Never. You were healing me so much at Midwich. Literally. Just for Momo. Yeah, I guess.
I've seen better days. That's for sure.
I had to get out of there. I was getting acid reflux just being in that game.
Oh, so fuck me, huh? Okay, I see.
Ryan's looping for dominance right now.
2 to 3 hours most of the week? What? Okay, Darlene. Darlene. As a sleep lover myself, I'll be sleeping. My ass be slumped. It's hard to find me awake. It takes a lot to get me out of bed. Okay, you're back. Hi, back.
My ass be slump sent me. I love that.
I'm always tired. I'm always in bed. I'm always cuddled up. I'm always laying. I'm always horizontal.
Crying.
No, Star, come back. You gotta bump that to at least 60. Don't do it, Nog. Don't do it. Star, how's the puppers? Nog, that dog sends me. Oh, now you want me back. Yes. Okay, what did everybody eat today? I had Wendy's. I'll go first. I had Wendy's. I'll be tired, and then I get the zoomies. Oh, so you're a cat. And then you're up for another additional 3 hours. The zoomies, like, do you get up and jump on your... or you just, like, have, like, a burst of energy where you feel like, oh, let me just get up. Puppy's good. She's tired. We're gonna get comfy cozy in bed. Well, yeah. Cuddles with the pooch. Just get a random person. Yeah. No longer tired. Makes no damn sense. Darlene, you need to get your Z's first.
I noticed Darlene didn't put justice for Momo in chat. That's questionable.
Oh. Mom was like, I'm
wait,
writing
what?
that down. Mom was like, I'll forgive, but I will never forget.
Clock it.
Oh.
Not the O.
I can admit my faults. It just so happened I wasn't ready up this time, you know. Crazy.
We were giving the killer a chance to quit.
To back out, because
Yeah.
we're about to eat them up.
Also, when you're doing
It's-
open houses again, I want to put it in my calendar so I won't miss it. Oh, honestly, that's a great question. I also wanted to know when people wanted to do Among Us, because that would be fun too.
Oh, yeah.
But we would need a full lobby. Like, I don't want to play Among Us with just 5 people, because it's going to be so obvious. So I want to make sure we have, like, a big, hefty lobby to play with. I love me some Among Us. Among Us is so much fun.
No, literally,
I love Among Us, period. All right, say less. It's happening. And I know just the day. See, I don't mind Gideon's. Did it trap her?
I don't know. I heard that hint of a terror radius.
yeah, I think so. Because I'm it. Yeah, it is. I saw his aura downstairs. So I think he's got Deerstalker.
Because we could hear his music. Where we are. Message me date and time. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I put it in the Discord, and I'll invite people separately. We need those little separate invites. Trapper's lost, honey.
He's like, how the fuck do I get up these stairs?
He's like, and how do I fly?
Computer, take me up these stairs right now.
Computer, give me wings. As excited as I am about Jason, I'm really excited about the new killer. The angel. That looks like it's gonna be great.
Oh yeah, with how you can't do certain things towards it.
And like there's like a whole purgatory. Like I can send you to purgatory. I'm not excited.
Yeah, Darlene is gonna go straight to hell each time.
Good. Just smited. Smitten?
Smoke.
Twinny, not too much. You heard that, Darlene? You heard that, Momo? Darlene said, "What show?"
Did I lie though?
Ooh. The girls are fighting. Oh,
Darling, if you want me to time Momo out, I got you.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
He's like, I have the power.
Yes. Well, Momo, I'm sorry, I gotta time you out.
No.
Oh wait, just don't come down those stairs. Hold on, don't go down those stairs.
He's chasing Nia. Oh, so fuck me.
Okay.
I'm coming down to the stairs then. I don't give a fuck. Here I am. Now what?
Well, that was like reverse psychology, so that way you can get on this gen. It worked. Period.
I'm sick.
Right.
Right.
Also, I want to take it back to the moment where you said, the one time I don't ready up. One time.
Yeah, I've only. Was there another time? Do you have proof of said
Right.
time?
Right.
It didn't happen.
We'll run the tapes back. Don't worry.
So is he just not
Run
putting
back.
traps down? I haven't seen a single trap.
No.
No, he is.
He's
They're
put-
all just downstairs.
And he's
Oh.
putting them mid chase too, which is a struggle for him.
He doesn't have bloody coil.
Yay. Can someone find a
have joy in
toolbox? I mean, not a toolbox. A chest.
There's usually one in Old Man Yowie bathroom.
He's chasing the shit out of Nia. Goddamn. And Nia's probably got a adrenaline.
Oh,
Sling.
that wasn't what I meant to do. Sorry, Nia.
This is so funny to watch this Tom and Jerry ass chase right now.
I messed up.
Literally. Oh, he's gonna
Shit
get her.
So bad.
No, and he missed.
Honey, baby.
Oh, he's got so if somebody could cleanse that, that would be great. Super.
Where?
I have no idea.
Oh, I'll go look around.
Cleansed what?
The spicy bones somewhere.
Oh, he's got self-resetting traps too, so be careful.
Oh.
Okay, Momo, do you feel like being risky?
Yeah.
You want to pull Nia off the hook so you both get adrenaline at the same time if you wax you?
Hell yes!
Adren twin. Watch out, Nia! Nia, watch out! Oh, he don't give a fuck. He's going straight for the gate. I think he's gonna go trap it.
Hello? Okay. Oh, yeah, just run straight. No. Yeah, that way.
I was like, where are you? I had to look. I had to look around.
Okay, we're on the other side of the map. I'm gonna see if I can open this and come and take hit.
He and I separated. I don't know where he is. I'm scared. He's not on us either.
Oh yeah, he's all the way at the other gate. Oh, do you want me to heal you?
Yes, please.
Okay, I
I
got
almost
you.
forgot to redeem my thing. Oh yeah, I was wondering. I was like, Star hasn't played her entrance track.
Oh, run, go, 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 go.
Vamos, vamos a la playa.
Fiesta, salsa, quinceañera, baila.
I
Okay.
attempted again. Let's go.
I'm trying to figure out why did he swing at the door when we were
W
already out?
adepts. Love that for me with the little baby trapper. I got my adept.
Baila para mí.
Yay! Woo.
Oh, W
yeah,
adept.
Hunter Solo by Deer Stalker, yeah. Let's go. We love Adept.
Baila para mí. Papi, papi.
All right, last game. Let's make it count, guys.
Do you have an LG command?
Yep, I do.
Oh,
I think it's LG. Yeah. Yeah.
last game, best game, but we get the most sweatiest killer.
I know. It's a Myers. A Scratch Mirror Myers just jump scaring us the whole time.
A Scratch Mirror, Insta Down Myers with no air.
It's that one sniping huntress for that's like popular on YouTube. The one that does all the orbitals. We're like, how am I getting down? Hi, Jaden. Oh my God, Jaden. Jaden, get your check-in, Jaden. Jaden, I miss you so much, dude. I hope you're doing well. Are you excited for summer? How have you been, buddy? Been a minute. Been a minute. Very. I'm so excited for you. Have you been busy with school? Oh, well, I hope it's good busy. I hope you've been enjoying yourself too. Yeah, get check-ins. Everyone get your check-in if you haven't already. Get that streak going. Get that counter up. Good busy. That's awesome, Jaden. I'm so proud of you, dude. Hopefully we can catch up soon. Look-y kind of staying up late. Oh. Hey, for sure. How's school been? When is school over? School's over in 2 or 3 weeks. Period. Do you and your family have any traveling plans this summer? I feel like you and your parents and your brother always go away to do something. So that's a yippee. Oh, where are you going this year, Jaden? You excited? We're going to vacation somewhere? Oh, it's a surprise location. I don't know. Well, yes.
Oh, and it's expensive. I'm have fun.
Oh,
What is it? Who is it?
Freddy. Oh, see, and he right here
Oh,
too?
I see,
Yup.
ooh, whacked.
Wait, unfortunately, I had nothing to work with.
I'm retired as a Fortnite player. I don't know about you. I am too, buddy. I am too. Honestly, all I do is play DVD and other games now. We just finished Until Dawn again. Like, actually finished it this time on stream. And we've been playing a lot of Pokopia. Pokopia also, like, dominated stream for a while. Which, that reminds me. I have to play Pokopia this year.
Ooh, yes. Oh, he's going into the main room?
Yeah. We just ran past this. I'm gonna go wake up. Oh! Oh, he missed! Can I get a whiff? I'm dead here. Okay. Well, at least I'm awake. Get back into Fortnite. I just got into it. I haven't played Fortnite in so long. Nia! Oh my god, you're so hot. You're so sexy. I gotta go.
He's still going after you. I made him whiff, and then he's continuing. Oh, he's going after
He's
Nia.
after Nia. I'm gonna go up to you. Nia, oh my god.
I got you.
I'm sorry. I got scared.
No, you're okay.
I just left. I just left. That is not a wait. Yeah, there's a whip. He swung. He swung right at that. He swung at this. That's a whip. He didn't get. Now that wasn't a whip. Hey, what? Run it back, Jaden. He whipped it. He whipped the first time too. It's okay. Somehow I survived 2 gens. I forgot I still have Gabe's loadout on. Need a Paletta. I live for that name. It's so funny.
Okay.
I'm just gonna go
do you
for
know where he's
save.
going?
He went back to main for that gen.
Okay, period. Love that.
He left main.
Don't love that.
Okay, I lost him.
Okay, love that. Oh, I found him. Don't love that.
I'm about to fall asleep again. Just the depth twice because you're that good? Like, literally, watch.
Clock it.
It'll be number 2.
Yep.
I'm gonna go wake up. Oh, there's a gen being worked on over here.
Shoot, I'm going down. He got me. I couldn't make the pallet. Oh, you popped my jet.
I
whoever
did.
that was hot.
I did. I got you. Oh, he's after Nia. He's not even looking for me. I'm going for hook.
I got it.
Okay, we'll double res.
Hyper-
We'll double res.
You out. I got you.
Or not, because somehow. Oh wait, I thought Freddy was.
Oh, hi, Hammy.
W24-hour stream. Hi, Hammy. Welcome in. Thank you for your check-in.
Justin, I'm about to fight you.
Why? What?
Because you were healing while asleep, and so that's how he teleported to us.
Oh, really?
Yup.
I didn't know he could do that. I learned something new every day. I honestly fell asleep while healing you, though.
Uh-huh.
So I thought I could finish healing you before I fell asleep. Come to find out,
Everybody ate.
everybody ate. W 24-hour stream? 24-hour stream?
Oh, that's what. He's leaving me. Okay.
Yeah, he's on me.
Okay. And then I'll go grab you. Yeah.
Yeah, I can stick with this gen.
Taking him away from Hook.
Okay.
He went toward Hook. I'm asleep.
I can take that hit. Go, 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 go. We run.
Ready for LG is wild. I know. Oh, Momo's still alive. Shocker. Dude, Momo, what did you do to these people?
To these people is crazy, first and foremost.
You laugh.
He TP'd to my gen, by the way.
No, Ed. Oh my god.
Wow,
This bitch.
I'm surprised. I'm shocked.
No Ed and no way out.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I can find Noah.
Yeah, I'm gonna look for some spicy bones around me.
He's coming near me. I'm gonna die.
I found Noah.
I found it. He's here. I'm gonna die. No, I spun him.
Yeah, no, it's easy.
Hold up. I'm still gonna die. I'm gonna die! I spun him. I spun him again. Fuck! No. Make it.
Nia's healing, but I have to wake her up.
Nice, you guys got it.
So I'm on this side of main where like how can I word it? Do you know where the gen is in the back of main?
Yeah.
I'm on that side, opening that door.
Okay.
Justin, I'm here if you
Where are
wanna...
you? Where are you? Where are you?
Behind you, behind you! Never mind. Hold up. Thank you.
Go, 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 go,
This
go, 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 go.
Okay, go, 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 go.
Yeah, Ryan's opening that door. Go, 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 go.
You're on death hook though. Go. Oh fuck. No!
You asked me to.
Oh, he's greedy as fuck.
Oh wow.
Oh, he picked me up. Nice. Run for the door, Justin.
Yeah, go, run.
I thought the door was over here.
Oh, he's going for the door. He's going for the door.
Come on, this
Oh.
way. Yeah, I 99'd it just to be safe.
We're all following each other, guys.
Oh no, that's not good.
It's fine. Because with that
Nia's
scratch mark, he
literally,
must-
yeah, Nia's.
one back
really-
in.
Go, 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 go. The first 4 out of the night, by the way.
Let's go!
Let's go.
Nice! against the Noah's
LG.
Noed Freddy. Let's fucking go.
Or actually, no, we got out last game too, right? No one died last game.
Yeah. Yeah, Noed, Blood Warden, No Way Out, and Fire. I'm glad I did 99 it.
GG's, we got 8. And that's how you end the Swift stream. Guys, thank you for playing. Period.
Thank you so much for the
Bro had
games. They were so fun.
Yes, thank you for games.
Thank you for games. No, thank you for games. Thanks for playing. Thanks for coming to hang out. Thanks for not being tired of me yet. Good night, guys.
Never, never. Love you.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, that was such a fun night. I had so much fun with the homies. No, thank you for joining me. You're always welcome. Everyone's always welcome to play. Today was a good stream day. Honestly, streams have just been so much fun and such a good break from life, and I'm so happy to have met all of you. Want to hang out here and spend your nights with me. Tired of who? You, you girl, now you're lying. Sorry. No, it's always so much fun. I've missed you guys so much. I feel like I just haven't spoken to my Twitch friends in a while. Today was a lot of fun, and we'll definitely do some community stuff soon. Probably in July, once my schedule is a little bit more solid, and I have more time on the weekends, because I would really love to do like a long weekend stream with you guys, and I would love to like play a lot of community games with y'all. Like, I know we've been itching for Among Us and a bunch of other stuff. Yes, join the Discord for all the announcements and get your check-ins. This is your last chance. Who are we gonna raid? Let's see who's live. Ronnie's not live anymore. I always default to Charlie being my raid. Oh, Biscuit is streaming. We can raid Biscuit. Yeah, let's do that. Let's raid Biscuit. Biscuit. Raid Sir Knock? Is Knock streaming right now? Wait. Don't lie to me. Oh no, it's not. I was gonna say Knock is live and didn't tell anybody? Didn't go Knock stream. Oh, I already follow you. Never mind. Maybe I did know. But 12 days ago, maybe I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, let's raid Biscuit. Last chance for check-ins. Yeah, go live right now. I'm not live. Go live so I can raid out to you. I think that's. Oh, it's just. There you go. Let's copy that raid message. The one. Yes, we just added that, Jaden. You just haven't been here to get your check-ins. Now we have check-ins, we have dailies. Guys, thank you so much for stream. Thank you for being here. Stream is only fun because you guys make it fun. Like, I only have fun when you guys are hanging out with me, and I love that I get to build this time out for y'all to see me and for me to speak to y'all. Like, I have gone through like the hardest part of my life at the moment, with Twitch and with y'all, and I really, really appreciate all of you. Stream is fun because you are fun, Justin. I know, but you guys help me be fun, and I feel like I can be my true self around you guys. So it really makes me feel silly, goofy, and incredible that you guys just like being around me. I've really, really needed y'all, and this has been so great. So keep up with the Discord. I've been trying to just at least post a weekly announcement to let y'all know when I plan on streaming. And yeah, we'll totally get some more stuff in. We're definitely gonna play Pocopia. We're definitely gonna play Simpsons. And we're gonna try to get a little open lobbies. You guys are all amazing. I really appreciate all the love always, and I'll see you guys on Friday, okay? Everyone be safe this week, and don't let work kill you. It's not that deep. I'll see you guys Friday. Love you.